Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Ted Carr here, and I've got Dr. Sam on the line. If you don't know Dr. Sam yet, you're going to want to check out all this stuff right after this podcast because Dr. Sam is probably one of the healthiest, if not the healthiest person I know. This guy is just, he's a force, man. You feel his energy when you're hanging around him. You learn so much from him every time he opens his mouth. This guy is just a powerhouse of knowledge and wisdom and infinite love. This guy loves to hug. This guy loves to smile. This guy loves to hold eye contact. This guy is the real deal. If you've never met Dr. Sam, then you can meet him this summer at the Canada Fruit Fest. You can meet him at probably the Woodstock Fruit Fest as well. I think he's going to be there. And he's going to be hosting some retreats throughout the year as well. So we'll find out how you can get in touch with him. But without further ado, let's say hey to Sam. Sam, what's going on, man?
Hey, Ted, what's going on, brother? It's great to connect with you. Always love talking with you, man. It always gets deep, and we always have fun.
Yes, we do, man. Yes, we do. Hey, man, for those who don't know you, how would you introduce yourself? Like when people say, like, who's Dr. Sam, what do you say?
I am a certified health raiser.
Certified health raiser.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I was actually born a health raiser. So raising health is all about raising the consciousness and the love on this planet by raising your own level of health and then helping others do the same.
I love it, man. And are there like specific, are there like, like 12 principles you live by or 16 laws that you live by to do this? Or is it just like you take it day by day, or do you have like a system for it, or how do you approach it?
Yeah, I take things day by day. I mean, I have a signature system of health I developed that actually has 8 links in it. And then that's something that is really solid because it not only, I think, governs human health, but just every species on this planet is bound by these 8 essential things. And don't mind mentioning them. They are food, air, water, light, rest, activity, hygiene, and love. And I've been asked tons of times in my life for a quick fix. And, I do think health is earned, good or bad. And so the real quick fix is to target the weakest link in your chain of health first, because a chain's only strong as its weakest link.
Right.
So that's what I always align with. But the other thing I think is so important is to just stick to the basics. And I'm a fan of Dr. Seuss because I grew up, after all, Sam, I am. And I grew up with Dr. Seuss books, so I love to build frameworks and stuff. So a lot of things, including health, I think come down to the basics. And the ABCs are a wonderful thing to always, align with when it comes to health as well.
When you talk about health, what is health? Like how do you define it?
How do I define health? Yeah, I look at health as a way of life. Really, it's not only a philosophy, but an embodiment of, a path in life. And I think that's really important. I know a lot of definitions are simple, like, the absence of disease, but health is so much more than that. It's truly a way of life. And, I feel the same about therapy, being a rehabilitation specialist. I mean, true therapy is a way of life. It's not just some remedial program you do and go back to your old way of doing things because it won't work. So that's the beauty of health. It's a vehicle for the spirit as well. I think the ultimate reason, to be here is to express our greatest talents and gifts for the world. And health is definitely the vehicle for that, because when you have a foundation of health, then I think you can reach your greatest potential.
So again, I hear this word health thrown around so often, and people say, like, oh, he's healthy, she's healthy, I'm healthy. But like, what are the symptoms of health? Like, how do you know if you're healthy?
Well, one of the ways I personally know I'm healthy is when I can make myself laugh.
Nice.
I think that's one aspect of health. But seriously, I do think that's important. But I think that ultimately health is going to come down to as the classic things that are mentioned about mind, body, and spirit. So, and of course, outside of that, there's other aspects of health too. I think overall, even financial health. I mean, you look at the amount of stress finances cause for people, and they can have other things in alignment, but if finances are out of alignment, then their health is going to suffer. So I think that looking at overall, the bigger picture of things, things outside of health that can lead to health, such as family and friends. And like I mentioned, finances and a focus of your career is really important. Fun and adventure is very important. And some kind of spiritual practice is very important. So I think all those things are very important as aspects of health. And I think the way that you know you're healthy is when you can live congruent with those things. So once you identify those key factors, then it's living in congruency with those factors. Then you're truly healthy.
Right, because I like when someone, for example, they have a cough or they have a sore throat, it's easy to say like, oh, you're sick right now, right? They got a headache or whatever, or they got a fever, right? We say they're sick. But like when someone's healthy, to me, it's like, okay, you're healthy if, like you said, you can make yourself laugh. You're healthy if you can fall asleep with no problem. You're healthy if you can digest food easily. You don't have like crazy amounts of, indigestion. You're healthy if you're attracted to, loving spirit. You're healthy if you have a lot of energy, right? These are all symptoms of health that I don't think enough people pay attention to. Everyone's so focused on these symptoms of illness. They're like, oh, Sam, this must be wrong with me because I got this. But it's like, you also have like a lot of aspects of health. Like, look, you're strong. You can do pull-ups. You can do push-ups. You can run around the block. You have appetite, right? You have this you can eat. That's a symptom of health, I think.
Absolutely. And even if people have a cough or they feel a little bit off, I mean, the true sign of health is that you're resilient and you bounce back. I mean,
nice.
I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody's impervious to all life's challenges. I mean, just there's forces that we don't even understand sometimes at play. So, like, if you get knocked out of balance, the key is your ability to bounce back and be resilient. I mean, that is a huge sign of health.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, if you're not resilient, then you're not healthy. I mean, you can, have a certain mindset and this, but when it comes down to it, it's like it's that whole let's see it in action.
Mm-hmm.
People sometimes talk a good game, but it's like if you're truly healthy, you can bounce back from things, and like life's going to throw you curveballs, as you know. I mean, that's just like you're an entrepreneur, so you know that. I mean, you just get thrown things, and it's like it's your ability to bounce back, or it's your ability to like learn from the experience and see the bigger picture, and that's truly a measure of health as well.
Right. Now, dude, the reason I wanted to bring you on this call today is I wanted to ask you, like, what are the just three things that someone can do to get and stay healthy?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. And I think that ties nicely into something I mentioned before in our conversation about like keeping things basic and sticking to the ABCs. And so that's, where I think we can, talk about the three things. Does that sound good?
Yeah. So the ABCs, is that like what, like supplements you take or food you eat, or what is that?
Yeah, I guess you could refer to them as supplements, but they're not truly supplements as people would think about, like pills or powders or anything like that. So, and this ties in nicely to the practice of Qigong and even Qigong philosophy a little bit.
What is Qigong?
So Qigong is a practice, a well-being practice that's been around for millennia. It started in the East and it has spread slowly to the Western Hemisphere. But ultimately, there are different forms of Qigong. There's the martial arts form, and that's like Kung Fu and then kind of thing. And then there's the medical Qigong, which is kind of what I call like Reiki on steroids. It's an energy, it's a laying on of hands, but it's very much based in Eastern protocols of balancing the yin and yang in the body. And then there's the movement Qigong, which is what I'm referring to. And that's a lot like Tai Chi, but it's a lot easier to learn. So something that I'm very passionate about. I actually practice every day, a few times a day, and really think that it brings balance to the body, heart, mind, and spirit. So some of the principles of Qigong are great, are alignment, breathing, and your connection or your consciousness. So this will tie in nicely to health, because I think there's so much wisdom in Qigong as well as in the how this could tie to health. So let's take the first one. So the first thing people can do is focus on their alignment, and their alignment that would be A. So again, we're going to take the ABC approach, keep things simple. So the A is going to stand for alignment, and what I mean by that is first of all, your structure. Your balance structure in your body, your physical alignment. This is vitally important. I think this is an aspect of health that people neglect. They say, well, I go to the gym or I work out and all that, and that's all well and good. But if the movements you're doing or the workout you're doing, so to speak, is not balancing your body, then it's truly pulling you out of alignment. And I don't think people give enough attention to this. I kind of have to in my profession, being a licensed physical therapist, a rehab wellness guy. I mean, I'm constantly working on this stuff with people. But your physical alignment truly is going to determine your health on many levels, because it matters how you line up physically, and it matters what you align with mentally and emotionally, and it matters what you align with spiritually. So I think alignment overall is a huge thing. I mean, in Western terms, we could call that posture, and body mechanics, how you position and move yourself through space and statically and dynamically. But vitally, vitally important, because this feeds your system, and it feeds your nervous system and your endocrine system and all your other systems, even your belief system.
Dude, you're getting me excited here, man. So you're getting me excited. You're saying one of the healthiest things I can do is improve my alignment. If you come to the Canada Fruit Fest this summer and you teach a class, are you going to be teaching people how to have perfect alignment?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think when I was there last year, it was very well received. I did some courses about that, about proper movement and posture and breathing and even Qigong classes, and that was very well received, as people said, wow, this is the missing piece of fitness.
Wow.
And,
wow.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, it is. It's a missing piece of health.
Yeah. Damn, dude. And so do you teach this stuff like around the world? Do you have a class at a workshop at home that you teach, like a studio, or where else do you teach? Where can people find you to learn perfect alignment?
Yeah, I mean, I teach locally here where I live, and I'm down in near Atlanta, Georgia area, and I actually have a Qigong seminar workshop coming up here locally in the town I'm in. I know you've been here because you visited here. It's called Roswell, Georgia, and it's coming up on February 24th. So I'm excited about that, and yes, it's at this local yoga studio, and then people definitely can find me, online at my main website too, just to learn more about my offerings, and that's drsampt.com. It's drsampt.com, and yeah, this will be something that I probably do more of in the future too, in terms of video courses, or even because now like DVDs are a bit outdated, but just online courses stuff. Teach people these principles. They're so vitally important. Let me put it this way, because this is kind of profound. And this is something too you kind of borrowed from Qigong, principles. We are literally like a connection between heaven and earth. And so man or woman is the middle ground between the heavens above and the earth below. And so you're like a cosmic antenna. And so the better your alignment and the better energy can flow through you, the more divine downloads you can receive.
Wow.
And the more you can reach your true living potential. And this is something that sounds like woo-woo, but I'm telling you, like, the minute you start plugging in, tapping in, you'll tap parts of your potential you didn't even realize you had.
Dude, it's so cool. I love it. It's like we're on the brink of a new discovery here, and you're bringing the truth here. You're bringing the message.
Absolutely, man. So with alignment, it's wild, because with alignment, I think, there's some other A's, but I think alignment is the one on top. But then you think about alignment, your alignment improves, then so does your awareness.
So let's back up. Let's clearly define alignment in terms of the physical, okay? So Are you just strictly talking posture?
Yeah, in terms of the physical, we're looking at alignment as postural balance, and even movement balance. Like sometimes people talk about the term homeostasis, which means bringing the body into balance. Well, a balanced movement system is called homeokinesis, and I think that's vitally important. Without getting too scientific and out there with words, but it's important that I think people start to align their workout programs and the way they exercise and rethink it. Like the whole point would be to move in a way every day that teaches you more about yourself and like brings you into better alignment, allows you to have a balanced movement system, because that's what we want in life. We want balance. We want to move through space in a balanced way. And So it's yes, you could say it's posture, both static and dynamic. Because I think sometimes people have this picture of posture of, oh, I just stand like a statue, or I'm totally perfect in a line, but you can't move like that. That's rigid. So
Right.
yeah, so balance in posture, a balanced posture system is fluid. It's
Dude, I love
fluidity
it.
and being able to move that way
Have
for
you
sure.
ever seen Tim Schiff move?
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool, eh?
yeah. Tim is Tim's a fun guy. I really love I connected with him at Woodstock one year when he was there, and he's a cool cat for sure. And I know he's worked on his own. Balancing of his own body. I think he'd come out with his own product there within the last year about a warrior type of thing about moving in a way that is good. Like I really
mindful warrior.
The mindful. Exactly, mindfulness, and that's a big thing, in my profession. Moving mindfully, because there's one thing to move, and there's another thing to move mindfully. A lot of people, let's put it this way: there's an old school saying: "Is don't just count reps, make your reps count." And I think that's a great way of summarizing it too. I mean, a lot of people are just counting reps. So I did this many. It's like, yeah, but did your reps count?
Yeah.
I'm more concerned with how well someone moves than how much they can move, because it's like, to me, I watch people sometimes. I go, my patients too. I joke around, like, congratulations, you're getting really good at sucking at it.
Yeah.
And they go, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, half your reps were good and the other half sucks. So I was like, half the time you program your body to move in a good way, and the other half you're kind of fighting yourself. So be very careful of that. And on that note, I think it's important to follow certain principles. And one of the principles of exercise that I like is called functional failure. Now, most people have heard train to failure. It's a common, theme, and it works. Like, you train to the point where you're pushing yourself. That's how you adapt and get stronger, faster, or whatever you're trying to build. But functional failure means when your form breaks down, you stop right there and then. It doesn't mean you have to stop exercising completely for the day. It means you stop what you're doing and you start again and you reset it. Because if not, like I said, you're hardwiring a pattern in your body that's not, a good pattern, and your body's going to default to whatever you practice.
Right, man. I love that. So that's that's alignment. And the next one we've got B for, what did you say? Bad breath?
No, breathing.
Breathing.
But just breathing in general. But of course, if you did have bad breath, I don't know that you want to be breathing on anybody. Or it's it's a sign that, hey, your body's out of balance.
Right.
So check in with yourself. It's not just like a mouthwash deficiency. There's something going on there. Your body's giving off something. So, but breathing, vitally important to so many things. I mean, every function in the body, I can tell you, is going to be driven by the breath. And this is an important concept too, as it relates to the first thing, as well as that we were just talking about, movement, and even to the C. When we get to the C, letter C, we'll tie it in there. But your breathing is so vitally important. And one of the things I ask people to consider is this: you breathe, depending on how many breaths you take in a minute, 10 to 20,000 plus times a day. Wow. So when you figure that fact of physiology, it's like, holy crap. I mean, you don't do anything 10 to 20,000 times a day, but you breathe 10 to 20,000 times a day, which means any slight improvement in your breathing.
Whoa, dude, I love that.
Yeah, times a factor of 10 to 20,000, you're not going to find a better ROI on your health.
Dude, I love that.
And it's free, because people in America bitch all the time about affordable health care. It's like, hey, you got the most affordable health care inside of you. It's called breathing, and it's free. You have access to it anytime.
Wow.
Anytime. So, that's one fact. The other thing is the breathing is just so vitally important when you look at it this way: of liquid, food, and air. So if you broke down nutrients into, okay, we need food, we need liquid, we need air. You can live days and weeks without food and water. I mean, we know you fasted, I fasted, and our friends have fasted, and other people have too that we're even not friends with, have proven that you can live days and weeks without food and water. Dude, you can only live minutes without air. Yeah. Minutes. And you're dead. After probably 6 to 8 minutes, your brain dead. Right. You're lucky if they bring you back. So putting things in perspective, it's like, if people want to obsess about something, they should obsess about how they're breathing more than what they're drinking or what they're eating, because it's also the fastest way to regulate the body's pH. And I know people are big, even in the circles we walk in with raw food and veganism. Oh, the alkaline diet and alkaline water and all this. It's like, okay, you want to alkalize your body? Learn to breathe correctly. It
Wow,
blows
dude.
away food and water any day of the
Wow.
week.
This is top stuff, man. This is why I brought you on the show. This is like
Yeah.
really next level. Like you said, people spend thousands of dollars on these alkalizing water systems. They spend thousands of dollars on certain alkalizing food products. But what you're saying is if you just learn how to breathe correctly, then you can alkalize your blood pH just with your own mouth and lungs.
Absolutely. And I mean, if your liver and kidneys are working fairly well, you can remove up to 65% of the toxins in your body just through breathing correctly.
Dude, teach me how to breathe right now. What do I got to do?
And that, yeah, and that's something that I think like blows people away, no pun intended, because they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So I'm not saying, don't cleanse or do these other things. I'm saying let's put things in perspective from a facts of physiology perspective. So proper breathing, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of theories on this, but I think one, breathing should be a full body phenomenon. It's not just belly breathing. I don't like the term belly breathing just because then people are just focused on trying to push their stomach out. And it's not about pushing it out. It's about the fact that it will move out if you're breathing correctly. But one of the equations that's kind of simple is that if you're going to break it down into just like looking at the trunk of the body, the thorax, is the 2/3, 1/3 equation, which would be 2/3 of the breath is in the lower part of your body, and the last 1/3 is in the upper part of your body in terms of your trunk. So from your waist to your neck, 2/3 of the breath should be in your lower rib cage and lower abdomen. And when you look at the shape of the lungs, this just makes sense because the shape of the lung, there's a dome on top and then it comes down and it's kind of bigger on the bottom. Well, the majority of the lung capacity are in the lower lobes and actually in the back of you, not the front of you. Think of how many people ever breathe through the backside of their body or deep in the lower lungs. Most people in America, anyway, do not. I can tell you because, I've treated thousands of people in my career and I live here and I watch how people breathe. They're very much so upper chest breathers and accessory neck breathers. And it's so shallow and stifled. It's no wonder that they're anxious and depressed and really kind of screwed up emotionally because breath is going to regulate all that stuff.
Dude, I love it. It's like you said, like 20,000 breaths a day. If you can just improve your breath by 1%, you're getting a 20,000 ROI on that.
Yeah, and the thing is this, like when you look at it, it should be our default. And so the point is this, like our breath should be the first place we look, not the last place we look when there's something wrong. Like when you feel off, the very thing I teach my patients and clients is, where's your breathing right now? I promise you. That's why the ABC approach always works. Like, where's your alignment? Where's your breathing? And we'll get to the letter C here in a few moments. But it's like, check in with yourself. That should be your default. But it is your default. Breathing is your default. That's the way divine architect made us, right? God created us a certain way. Like, if you don't breathe, you die. Your breath is defined by your life. From the first breath you take to the last breath you take, literally defines your whole lifespan.
Dude.
So it is our default. So it should be our default.
Is there like a step-by-step approach for how to breathe better that you can give us right now?
Yeah, let's see here. If I had to break it down into a few steps, I think one thing to do, and this is a cool thing, this will help people. Like, one thing to do is if you're not sure how to breathe well, I always say, when in doubt, breathe out. So the thing is this, if you just take a full breath out, no matter where you are right now in your life, just breathe out through preferably your nose, unless you have issues with breathing through your nose because of sinus issues or something. But if you just literally breathe out through your nose, all the way to the point that you can't breathe out anymore, but not so you're straining. I mean, you don't want to breathe out so hard or so straining, almost like you're talking like this, because that's actually too much stress, and you don't want to give yourself a hernia either. That's too forceful. But the point is, if you breathe all the way out like that, and you keep breathing all the way out to the point you have to breathe in again, all of a sudden you'll get this inhale back through your nose that's automatic. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times if you say take a deep breath in, people suck their stomach in and they breathe up into their neck and it creates more stress and it backfires. But if you breathe all the way out, it's called a reflex breath. It triggers what's called a CO2 reflex. You've given off enough carbon dioxide, your body will naturally just take a natural breath in. You'll feel your whole abdomen just kind of naturally fill up, right? And then it moves up into your chest, and then you can just start to breathe normal again. So I think that that's one thing that'll help people learn to breathe correctly, is just fully breathe out and actually expel all that air in your lower lobes of your lungs that are always constantly ignored. After that, the breathing is literally just, it's an expansion and a contraction. So as you think about the breath coming in, your whole body's going to expand as you breathe in through your nose. So you take that full out breath, you breathe in through your nose, and I would say breathing in for a good 4 to 6 seconds. If that makes you anxious, you can't get that much breath in, don't. Only breathe in for 3 or 4 seconds. And then when you breathe back out through your nose for, 3 or 4 seconds, and just keep that rhythm naturally going. Now, the original reset breath, I said you don't have to keep doing that. You're not going to breathe out, fully every time to the point you have to breathe in again.
Right,
you just need to do that once. Yeah, just to be clear, because otherwise people go home and try that. They're like, I got really dizzy. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to keep doing that. You just do that like 1 or 2 times max, and then you keep your breath rhythmic. Now, just depends on where someone's breath pattern is. Very often with, again, people in America, I'm constantly working on extending people's exhale, which is the out breath, because most people are shallow breathers to begin with. So a lot of times I'll have people like breathe in for 3 and out for 6, just because their exhale is so poor that I have to reset it. But once it's pretty good, an even type of breath that's actually called coherent breathing, meaning you're breathing the equal parts in and out, is a very rhythmic way to actually trigger total homeostasis in the body.
Wow.
It's called coherent breathing. People can go look it up. It's pretty much a fancy term for, your breathing is even, meaning you're breathing in for 4 and out for 4, in for 6, out for 6. But that actually has been shown scientifically to improve heart rate variability, which you've probably heard that term, HRV, or heart rate variability, which is a measure of the functioning and health of your autonomic nervous system.
Wow.
Which is the balance between sympathetic fight or flight,
yeah,
and parasympathetic rest and digest. So that's key, because we're talking about balance here.
Dude, I love it. That's so cool. I remember when I first started learning meditation, my teacher taught us, I think it was like 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out, or 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, whatever. He's like, always have your out breath just a little bit longer than your in breath, because he's like, when you inhale, that's when your heart rate goes up, and when you exhale, that's when your heart rate goes down. You can relax a bit. So he's like, the exhale is when your body goes into relaxation mode, and like you're saying with the fight or flight thing, it's like you can balance it by having, I guess, even in and even out. But he was training us to really emphasize, just like you, on the exhale, because that's the part most people need to really work on.
Correct. Exactly. And you make an awesome point, because most people don't exhale well. So prolonging the exhale would totally balance their nervous system, because they're stuck in fight or flight. And the fastest way to get out of that is to focus on your breathing, especially the exhale, for sure. The other thing people don't realize that's interesting is you actually extract oxygen. It's actually extracted at the level of the lungs during the exhale. See, people always say, oh, you breathe in oxygen, give off CO2. Guess what? When you breathe out is when you actually extract the oxygen at the level of the lungs.
Wow.
So that's another reason. The better you breathe out, the more oxygen you're going to actually uptake.
Dude, that's great. That's great. So do you travel the world and teach alignment and teach breath? Like, do you travel anywhere throughout the year? Do you just go to festivals, or do you also like host seminars around the world?
Yeah, I got a retreat that I do, and currently I do them in Costa Rica. I actually have one coming up in March.
Nice.
Soon.
March what?
So
What's the date on that one?
Awesome. The dates are the 17th to the 23rd.
March 17th to 23rd. And if I were to come to your retreat, am I going to learn like total alignment and perfect breath?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we focus on this stuff big time, and that's the thing that makes the retreats very distinguished from other people's, because I know, like, some people I've had contact and say, oh yeah, well, I've been to a raw food retreat. I said, well, it ain't just raw food, man. It's raw habilitation.
Nice.
So we focus on this, and we focus on a lot of corrective strategies, and breathing and alignment are definitely 2 of them. So it's awesome stuff. Yeah, we do in Qigong almost every day, and doing a lot of other corrective exercise things. And breath is huge, because one of the things that I think the Russians, have done a good job of identifying in their therapeutic literature anyway, is they talk about it very significantly, is just they mention that too. Like, if your breathing pattern is not normal, every other movement or motor pattern, so to speak, will never be normal. It doesn't mean you couldn't still perform at a high level. It means you'll never perform optimally, though.
Right.
You know, and the thing is this, if you're trying to get to that next level, and I've had to reset some stuff, I still work on my breathing all the time, every day, because I know the more I do it, the more fit I become, the better I move, the less injury
Of
prone I
course,
am.
dude. That's like it's like discovering fitness and then being like, dude, I still do fitness every day. Of course you do. You know?
Right.
Or it's like it's discovering raw food and be like, yo, I still eat raw food every day. Of course you do. But
Right.
people sometimes think like, yeah, I did that whole breath work thing once and blah blah blah. It's like you need to keep doing it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, if it's the most important thing we could do, why would we not spend a lifetime on learning how to master it?
Yeah,
See,
bro.
the mistake people make is they assume I must be doing it right. I'm alive. I'm like, no, you're breathing well enough to be alive, not well enough to thrive. There's a difference.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I meet people like you and I'm like, Sam is thriving and I want to hang around more people like you. So I guess going to the festivals to meet you is cool, and you maybe in Roswell, Georgia, you have these meetups from time to time. But this retreat that you're hosting, it seems a bit more intimate. How many people go to these retreats?
Yeah, usually I cap them somewhere between 12 and 15 people because I personally do body work on people too. Now you've been the recipient of that, so you know the power of that. It's a corrective hands-on body work, which is structural based.
I need some of that right now, dude.
Yeah, that's another way to get people aligned, is just like, and I try to always I know my patients and clients, I do this at the retreat too. I teach people how to work on themselves. Like, hey, I just got you here. Here's how to stay there. Like, here's a hands-on technique. Here's acupuncture point.
You gave me two awesome exercises.
Yeah, like here's a cool exercise. Here's a joint mobilization you can do to yourself. Here's an acupuncture point you can push on. And that keeps the energy flowing and everything moving through there. So that's the other cool part. But 12 to 15 people because I work on people, I can only schedule so many of those appointments during the week, and I don't want anyone to get cut short.
Yeah, of course. And so, we've addressed the alignment thing. We've addressed the breath work thing. What's the third letter? The C?
So C, yeah. C, I would say, in terms of what people can do for health is connect each day. Connection's huge. And so connection has to do with, divine connection. So that would be your consciousness, or your ability, to align with the divine, as I like to say. And that's huge. Your connection to yourself and to others and the planet. And so the connection piece is huge because, like, when you connect with yourself every day, and I definitely spend time doing it because I like to document things. I like to log things, like how many hours have I invested in myself? How many hours have I actually, and I keep track of this. Like, okay, and it totally correlates with how well you do in life, like well you're doing.
You have this journal, dude, right? You take notes every day, or like you tick a box every day to see if you did something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have my own, as I mentioned, the chain of health earlier. I have my own checklist that I check off so I know, and I'm tracking my health that way. I have a journal that I keep weekly, monthly goals in, so I have a way of checking in that way. Like, hey, did I get done what I say I'm going to do this week? I'm looking at too, like, how much time did I invest working on myself? Like, did I sit down? Like, before we got on the call, I was doing grounding literally on the earth, and I was doing acupressure on myself to get ready to just be in a good space. Because I knew that we were possibly going to connect today. And, so it's a matter of connecting with yourself. That's huge. It's amazing. People love technology, and I do too, and as we know, it can be a double-edged sword. Technology is not the problem when it's a problem. It's how people choose to misuse or abuse it. But it's a reality of, don't forget about the technology you have in your own body. It's the greatest technology ever invented. And it blows me away that people want to touch everything but their own body. Like, learn to program yourself. Learn to play with your own technology. I mean, it's amazing when you start, like, really dialing into things in your own body, like what's possible. Like, just knowing, and you watch other species intuitively, instinctively do it, and humans can do the same thing, but we've chosen to tune out as opposed to tuning in.
So, dude, give us the goods, man. What's on the checklist?
On the chain of health checklist?
Yeah, what should I be checking off each day?
Okay, so like on mine, like, because I mentioned the 8 links. So what I do is there's 30 or 31 days, boxes written across the top. So the numbers 1 through 31, and then down the side there's just 1 through the 8. And again, so you have food, air, water, light, rest, activity, hygiene, love. in each box, it could be different. I like to go to the go-to things. So it might say, in someone's food box, like at least one, huge, fruit smoothie, or it might say dinner by 7 p.m. So you're holding yourself accountable, not eating too late. It may be a minimum of calories, minimum of 2,000 calories or something. Because if you've run experiments long enough, you know what you operate on. Right. So like you want to have your kind of figure out over time, like what your go-to things are. So you're hitting your marks each day.
How many calories do you have every day?
Minimum, I try to get at least 2,000.
So you focus on minimum, not maximum?
Yeah. Cause I know minimum that without that, I'm not going to operate at peak potential. So I know as long as I get at least 2,000, I'm good. If it's less than that, I'm not like I'm bad. It's just a matter of I have to adjust things obviously at that point in terms of, and you need to anyway, like depending on calories, depending on your energy levels, depending on sleep and all that is going to determine your workout and everything else in your day anyway. So I don't force calories though. I don't go, I haven't had 2,000 calories, let me just pound this meal down. It's like, no, I tune into my body. I just know on average that's what I tend to operate well on. But if I only eat 1,000 calories for the day because I'm like doing a semi, fast, or I might even only eat 500 calories a day, just all in liquid, because my body just doesn't really want the calories, then that's what I do. But I just know, for example, that's what I'm going to run best on because I've done the math so many times and I'm like, okay, I need a minimum of this done most days.
Do you think if somebody wants to, like if someone's got like a cold or something and they're feeling kind of sick, do you think they should do, like you said, a semi-fast where they like cut the calories in half or something?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you're sick, you're going to want to definitely allow your system to rest, and fasting will always do that. And the body then can reserve that energy to put into the task of healing as opposed to digesting. So yeah, if I was sick, I would go very liquid and I would cut the calories way back.
Cool. Now I know that we're doing the ABC, and the C does not stand for calories. So it's about connection, right?
Yeah, so connection. So yeah, like, and these asides are fun too. So the connection to yourself is huge, and that's why tracking your own health is a good idea. Keeping a journal, with, I have a cool meditation thing I do. That's one way I connect to divine every day. I have this cool meditation thing right now I'm doing that's 52 weeks long, so it's awesome. It's this thing where each week is based on a different attribute of kind of being a spiritual warrior.
Wow.
So like this, it's funny, you and I connected today because like this whole week's next theme is about partnership.
Nice.
And not even viewing like, and the cool part about that is like, if you look into the world and you look at your competition, so to speak, if because some people are athletes and stuff, so they view their competition, but your competition really is your partners in life. Your competition is your ability for someone to like actually take your own game to the next level.
You trying to compete, Sam?
Yeah, only with myself.
Good.
I only compete with myself. I make that a rule. I don't ever try to compare. I get motivated. I mean, you motivate me for sure, Ted.
Cool.
I watch your videos. I love your stuff. And you got a great vibe. So. But I made a vow a long time ago with myself to only compete with myself. It's just because you start comparing yourself to other people. It's a quick way. I mean, depends on how you do that. I mean, it's a quick way to really fail.
It's a quick way to nowhere.
Yeah, it's a quick way to nowhere because people and I think that's one of the downsides of social media. If it's not used correctly, people sit there and surf it and look at everyone else's lives and get depressed. And it's like, but you don't have to do that. You could look at it and get motivated,
Yeah.
But only look at things and compete with yourself and keep taking yourself to the next level. So connecting with your self, again, like one of the ways is meditation, to connect with the divine, and then connecting with each other is just, oh my gosh. I mean, how many times, we know like being in a path, especially of health and spirituality, it's about community. I mean, if you don't surround yourself by the right people, it's hard to be healthy.
Dude,
it's hard to be successful.
Dude, that is the number one overlooked hack. And I mean, we give it a lot of lip service, right? We say that you become like the people you hang around, and your vibe attracts your tribe, whatever. But it's like the people you hang around are going to determine the actions you take. Like, you could be the most disciplined person in the world, you could be the most like introverted person in the world, whatever, but like the people you're hanging around, they're going to affect your vibe, they're going to affect the actions you take, they're going to affect the results that you get, right? They're going to affect your entire outlook on life. even if you're like a super positive person and you start hanging around a bunch of negative people, which is highly unlikely because you're positive, but if in the event you do as an experiment, you're going to become a negative person, right?
Yep.
If you're a vegan and you've been vegan a long time and you start hanging around like a ton of meat eaters and you're like, and these meat eaters, you're homies with them, whatever, like you're gonna probably want to eat meat. It's like you become like the people you're hanging around. We're more social creatures than anything else. Like we're so social. Like it's so safe to be a part of the tribe that we're willing to just change the way we see the world, and we just want to connect with others. Like you're saying, it's the third C. It helps keep us alive. So much so that we're willing to go against what we know is right just to connect. But at the same time, we're willing to do what we know is right just to connect.
Correct.
So
yeah,
yeah.
Yep. We you know, there's that saying we're creatures of habit, and that's true. Like your health is going to be determined by the actions you take and the choices you make each day. There's no doubt. But we're also creatures of culture, and culture is our environment. And you nailed it, man. You nailed it. Like it's our environment, and so whoever you hang out with, there's your culture, right?
Yeah, bro.
So, yeah, and so it's one of those things that you have to look at. Like, well, you know, if I truly want to be successful, and you know, people sometimes are scared. Like, well, you know, some of my friends are just. I'm like, all right, well, get new friends.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not happy, or you don't have to abandon your friends completely. But let's say what your alignment is. Like, you know, I think you just got back from the 10X conference. You went down there in Miami, right? So you wanted it to obviously be around a culture that's like, okay, I'm trying to take my entrepreneurship to the next level. I'm trying to, you know, think bigger and serve more people from the heart. So obviously going down there, you just put yourself in a very, very good position in terms of success, because you're like, bro, thousands of people showed up with the same kind of mindset.
Bro. So I go to Fruit Fest a lot, right? I'm a big proponent of Fruit Fest. And I go there because, you know, when I was just starting out, like these people are the people at the Fruit Fest are the people who made me become a raw vegan in the first place, right? They are responsible for being the guiding light for me. And I became who I am today because of these people, and I just love surrounding myself with them. But when I leave a fruit festival now, I don't feel like that much of a changed person because I'm already vegan, I'm already raw vegan, whatever. But for the people who come to fruit festivals or retreats or whatever, and they're not vegan yet, they're not raw vegan yet, or they're just getting started, those are the people who, when they leave, they're like, oh my God, I'm a changed person, you know? And so, like, for you and me, like, we're already eating this way, we're already living this lifestyle, so it's not that much of a change to go hang around people. It feels good, though, for sure, and it reinforces, like, the fundamentals, absolutely. But for people who are brand new to this lifestyle, like, going to a fruit fest can absolutely change their life. Going to a retreat can absolutely change their life completely. And so, like you said, I just got back from 10X conference, and this is the first time I've ever been to a conference like that. It's a big self-development conference, and it focuses on entrepreneurship and finances. And I'm a changed man. Like, I'm a changed man since that conference, because it's like I was just waiting to finally hang around people who were like wanting to up their game in business. And I finally got to experience what it's like hanging around a bunch of billionaires, you know? Tons of millionaires everywhere. And it's like when you become like the people you hang around. Those are hanging around a bunch of millionaires, now I feel like a millionaire. Yep. And so like I said, like at retreats or festivals, like wherever people can go to hang around people who already have the things that they want or are living the kind of lifestyle they want, they're going to get there so much quicker.
Absolutely. And that's it. Like I had this conversation with somebody the other day. They said, well, you know, my friends aren't, you know, where I wanted to be, you know, in this aspect of my life. I said, okay, well then just go hang out with other people who are. It doesn't mean you abandon your friends. It means like some of your friends can't serve all your needs. So like, it's okay to have multiple friends. It's okay to not hang out with, you know, people that aren't exactly like you. Actually encourage that you don't do that. Like that you're open enough to, like, you know, you go and hang out with certain people because certain of your needs are met or your goals are met there. And then other people you hang out with for very different reasons. And that's cool. Like that also, I think, keeps a lot of variety and spice in your life. And that's cool. Cause like, I mean, I hang out with certain people, you know, who aren't even vegan because they still, you know, have a lot of value to give to the world, and they still are like good people. They're fun to hang out with, this, that, and the other. I mean, I don't usually eat meals with them and stuff, but we do other things, and it's fun. And I don't want to cut them out of my life because it's like, you know, there's a lot of reciprocation, you know, when we're hanging out. So Yeah, and that's it. But the thing is, like, yeah, if you know you want health or you want vegan, you know, and raw food or even more spirituality, I mean, yeah, like fruit fest and like and retreats and
Hmm.
intensives, because it's immersion. You're
Yeah.
immersed in it to the point where here's how it happens. This is a great term I learned a while ago, and it's something that I feel like, and people have kindly gave me this compliment. They're like, dude, after I came to your lecture, it's like irreversible knowledge. And I'm like,
Nice.
"Ooh, yeah, I like that." And they're like,
Dude,
I
you got to
can't go
put that on
back.
your website, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it's in my bio actually. A lot of times, that phrase. It's like, you walk away, and it's like the stuff becomes irreversible knowledge.
I
So
love that term, dude.
yeah, because it's true. You're like, there's no going back. There's no going
Wow.
back, and that's the thing about being a health raiser. Like, to me, I got to keep up in my game. I mean, last year I released that song that I wrote. I'm not a songwriter, but I decided, like, in my mind, in my heart of hearts, it just wasn't what I was first aligned with. But I became one last year. I mean, I wrote a song. It's a rap hip hop song, and people can get that for free if they want. To check out my Instagram account. I actually put it in my story today, actually. But there's a link to that in my bio for getting a free copy of that song. I love the song, not just because I wrote it, just because it's a really it was a well produced song. I was blessed to find a local guy here in Atlanta that could produce it and do it justice. And the thing is, it's just motivate the hell out of you, because
Yeah.
it's just all about a positive vibe about being a health raiser, which is it's just like I said, you're going to spread love and light in the world by raising your own level of health. And every day I ask myself, like, how are you going to rise higher today? How are you going to rise higher today? Like, what's it going to be? And so you keep raising the bar, because it's like, why do you want to go backward? you know?
Dude, I was listening to that song the other day, and
Yeah,
I
it's
was just,
catchy.
yeah, it's super catchy, man. I think it's here to bring it up right now.
There we go. Here we go. Kicking it out, Razor style. Come on, let's
All right, it's a little teaser, man. It's catchy as. If
Yeah.
you wanna find that, all you gotta do is Google Health Razor, and it comes up.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
just
that's good news.
it's the first thing that shows up, man. If it doesn't show up for you, just type in Health Razor song, and it'll for sure show up. But I just
Yeah.
typed in Health Razor, and the first thing that comes up. So that song is dope, super catchy. But man, like back to the sea of connection, like you're saying, like it's one of the top three healthiest things you can possibly do is just connect with people. So um, tell us more about the retreat, because that's coming up. That's urgent. Like we could talk about festivals later, but right now I think the next thing on people's calendar is March. It's the next month coming up. So you're saying March. What were the dates again?
Yeah, the
17th.
17th to the 23rd is the actual retreat date. So I mean, people would need a travel day on each side, just in case they plan on coming. You need to be in Costa Rica by the 16th, and then leaving on the 24th. So my retreat's actually a full 7-day retreat. It's a real 7-day retreat. So you'll actually be on the retreat from the 17th to the 23rd, but you need a travel day on each side. And we'll get you to and from the airport. That's part
So
of
all I got to do if I'm going to come to the retreat is just go to the airport and get picked up.
Yeah, well, there's a little B&B near the airport called Margarita's Guest House. That's where I have people stay. She's a sweet elderly woman who's used to our tribe now, so she'll feed you. Actually, she'll feed you fruits and vegetables, and she's really sweet. So yeah, we usually pick you up from there. Like, we have people roll in on the 16th or earlier. I mean, people can go earlier if they want. They can stay later, but if they actually need our transportation that's scheduled, they would stay there. And all this is detailed. Like, if you're going to sign up, I mean, I'll give you all the written. I send people an email that has all this stuff in it. Like, this is how to book this. This is where you need to be at this time. And so then we pick you up, and then we bring you down to the retreat center, which is down in South Pacific side of Costa Rica, now down near the Dominical area. And it's a full-on 7-day retreat, and every day is just epic, because every day, like I said, you wake up and we're going to be doing qigong or meditation, and then some possibly some corrective exercise stuff, and some of it is going to be worked on in the morning, and some people will get worked on by me in the afternoon. But during the day, we have all kinds of cool outings. Like, we go to the zip lines, we go to epic waterfalls, beaches, jungle hikes, permaculture tours, stuff like that. And then the in the evening or late afternoon, I always do a lecture about the chain of health. Like we mentioned before, the chain of health, I break that down and we dissect it and we go through it and just really drill it to where people are like, oh my God, I get it. And they have tons of ahas from that. Some of the things we do too are interactive to really make things stick. And then at night, there's some cool, usually activities that try to do like game night, movie night, maybe massage circle or reflexology type stuff, Tibetan bowls or bonfires and gongs and stuff like that. Really is a lot of everything. It's fun, food, and healing. And I have the pleasure and honor of having Chris Kendall as my chef.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to actually be there again this year, and he's like, in my eyes, a world-renowned raw food chef. I mean, he's incredible.
That's a name drop right there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Chris personally. So that's the other cool part. Like, people are like, wow, so I come to your retreat, I get you and Chris for a week.
Dude, yeah. That's crazy. And so the number one question people are going to want to know is, like, how much is it?
Yeah, so it's going to depend on, whether people are in singles or doubles or, triples. You're looking at around a couple $1,000s. I mean, it's going to be around, $2,100, $2,200, somewhere in there, just depending on, again, the room choice and stuff like that. It's
so wait, that's $2,000 for, I get 7 full days of accommodation, and I get 7 full days of food, I get 7 full days of education, and I get 7 full days of unlimited you and Chris Kendall contact.
Yeah, and then all the activities are included. So like the beaches, the zip line, all that's paid for as well. Yep.
And what about travel to and from the airport?
Travel to and from the airport is covered.
Dude, that's a steal. $2,000. That's it.
Yeah, it's right around a couple grand. And the thing is this, like I said, on average, so it might be, if you're in a single and wanting your own bathroom kind of thing, you might be looking at like, $2,200. But the reality of it is, it's an amazing adventure for an amazing price. And I love and respect the community. And I'll tell you what, I will do as well. Like, people, if you're listening to this podcast, you use the code TEDCAR, and I will give you $100 off.
Damn, it's TEDCARR. Yeah, I didn't even know you were gonna do that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so people tell me that Ted Carr sent me, or I heard your podcast with Ted. I will gladly extend those people a $100 discount. And I always believe in giving back to the community. So
what's the deadline, bro?
Definitely do that. The deadline, well, the retreat starts. The retreat starts. Oh, the deadline on the discount.
No, the deadline. The deadline to sign up. What's the deadline to sign up?
Yeah, the deadline to sign up pretty much is, I would say, going to be at least, at the latest, like a week out from the retreat, because there's a lot of planning. You've done events.
Oh, yeah.
Retreats require a lot of planning, and I would just prefer people sign up at the end of this month, by the end of February. But I know life circumstances happen with people, so I've had people, every year, people will sign up very last minute, like even a few days out. I would like it for people to sign up at least, at the latest a week out. So if it starts on the 17th, make it by March 10th or whatever as the final deadline. But it's not that you couldn't sign up after that. It's just no guarantee there'll be any spaces left after that anyway. But tons of planning going into this. If you know you want to come, don't wait. I mean, take the discount, now, and get the room you want and all that. And you definitely can have that option. The other thing I can throw out there is this: there's if people are motivated, and for any reason money is an issue, and you can get a group of people together, if you can come as a quad, a triple or a quad, there may be another avenue I can go for you that's a little bit even less, less expensive. It's not listed currently on the website because I wasn't sure if it'd be available, but there is a quad room available. It's just, again, it was one of those, I wasn't sure if it was going to be available or I could use it. But again, for anyone listening to this call, if someone's like, oh, I definitely could bring like 3 of my friends, or I could get this together, just hit me up with that. We could talk about trying to arrange something with that. That would be a little bit, even less expensive for people. But obviously, again,
Beautiful.
You're going to be in a quad and you're going to have a shared bathroom, but the experience won't change in terms of everything else you're going to get.
Yeah, dude. I love it. This is This is great. This is a great place for people to go in March, and a great place for people to go to connect and make friends for a lifetime, make connections for a lifetime, and like you said, get that irreversible knowledge and hands-on learning from you, right? So
Yeah,
that's awesome,
hands-on
man.
learning,
And
hands-on healing. Yep, no doubt, man.
wow. And again, so for a couple grand, they're getting 7 full days of education, 7 full days of accommodation, 7 full days of the best fruit and vegetables in the world, prepared by Chris Kendall. They're getting 7 full days of connection, friends, and family, really, right?
Yep.
So,
And
yeah.
then outings, 7 full days of the outings, which is,
Right,
again,
activities,
zip lines, waterfalls, beaches, jungle hikes, all that stuff.
Wow.
And that's just the beauty and magic of Costa Rica. That's where it really comes out to. Like, guaranteed, like, you see the waterfall we go to, your jaw will drop. I mean, it's a 3-tier cascading waterfall that jumps into this pool that you can swim in, and you can swim in and under the waterfalls and jump in them and all that. It's just like a scene out of a movie or something. It's very surreal. And when you're there, you're like, holy crap, am I dreaming? This is real, man. But it's really surreal. You just be blissed out.
Wow, man. So, if the deadline is you said March 7th, let's say, to sign up, or March 10th, whatever, week out.
Yeah.
But ideally people sign up before. So if anyone wants to sign up in February, with the code, then they'll get $100 off. And if they sign up within 5 days of hearing this, what else can you throw in for them?
Ooh,
put you on the spot. If they sign up within 5 days of hearing this audio. So what's today? Today's February 8th.
8th.
So if they sign up by February 13th, they're gonna get what? What else can you throw in?
All right, let's see here on that. Something that's really. I'll tell you what I'll do. This is a pretty epic bonus. You'll get the signature course I have called Bad Health Be Gone, which is 330-page self-help
Wow.
health course that has the whole chain of link system dissected out in a way that if you follow it, you really cannot fail. That program sells for $300+.
Holy shit, dude.
You can verify that on my website. Just go to, again, drsampt.com, go under the product section, pull up that program. You'll see the digital version at $300 and the hard copy version at like $350. I'll give you a free copy of that. And that way, for sure, I know when you leave the retreat, you won't be like, oh, that chain health thing was so cool, but I don't remember what he said.
Yeah.
You'll have it all.
Dude, love it.
You'll have. Yeah.
Love it. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. So you're gonna get $100 off. Let's set that code. That code only works in February. If you sign up in March, you're not getting that code. How's that?
Correct. Yeah. Like I said, the deadline's probably March 10th. But yeah, you need to use the code. People who take action get rewarded.
Yeah. If you use the code by February 28th, you'll get the $100 off. If you use the code within the next 5 days, you're gonna get people are gonna hear this maybe tomorrow. So February 14th will be the cutoff for the Bad Health Be Gone.
Right. You get that, and then
Valentine's Day, baby.
Yeah. Valentine's Day is to show you the love for sure. Let's see what else, because I'll tell you what, I'll even throw in a copy of my rehab manual, which is something that's it's another $30 book that basically is an amazing book for any time that you're recovering from an injury or illness. Like this is my basically life's work, cut down into a very nuts and bolts manual that tells you how to get optimal results when you're sick and injured trying to get well. Again, it is available outright if people want it on my website, but I'll throw in a digital copy of that for free as well. That way you're just like, even if it's something that you don't consult until you ever got hurt or something, but if you had it, you'd be glad you did. I can tell you, I know, like I had sent this to Chris Kendall actually, because those who know Chris, he got in a bad motorcycle accident last year, which was sad, but he's still recovering and he's doing really well. But I reminded him, I said, hey, dude, don't forget about the principles. And I sent it to him again, an updated copy. And he's like, holy crap. And he said instantly had this shift because, he was in rough shape. Of course, he wasn't thinking straight because he had a head injury and everything. And when he read that, he said, oh my God, dude, this just put everything in perspective for me, in the bigger picture. Even his ability to handle how he was being treated at the hospital and saying no to certain things and yes to other things because they were trying to influence him and he just wasn't in a good state of mind. Instantly just brought him back into a place where he was like, yeah, no way. And he got his power back. He was empowered again. And so it's a powerful resource, no doubt.
Awesome, man. Love it.
Throw that in there too.
Yeah, sweet. So they get Bad Health Be Gone and they get the rehab guide. So Sam, where can people find out about you and where can they find out about the retreat?
Sure. So drsampt.com. That's drsampt, as in physical therapist. drsampt.com. That's my main site. They can learn more about me there. And also the retreat is there. Like if you look under services, you can find retreats, and you can find it right there. And then that's the fastest way to get to it, without confusing people with too many URLs or links to stuff, because all that's just listed right on my website. And they can find it there. So
awesome, dude. And if anyone's considering like they want to make a career out of health, they want to make a career out of plant-based nutrition or whatever, connecting with Sam is going to be a great way about going and do that. You hang out with him for 7 days. He'll tell you how he makes a living. He'll show you how you can do the same. Heck, if you're curious about learning how to host a retreat, this would be a great place to go and just learn all the tricks and tips. I know Chris has done dozens of retreats. Sam's done dozens of retreats. If you're looking to maybe put together a retreat in the future for yourself, definitely going to want to attend one of Sam's and Chris's. So thank you so much, Sam, for offering this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's something that, like you just said, if you're ever considering it, cut your learning curve way down.
Yeah, dude,
way down.
Everything I've ever done, whether it's like sold an ebook or sold a video course or done coaching or held a retreat or held a fruit festival, I've paid to buy one for it first. Even coaching. Yeah. I've bought coaching before I ever became a coach. Like everything I've ever done and sold, I've bought first to learn how it's done. So this is just another opportunity where people can go and do that. But awesome. Yeah. Well, Sam, I'll let you go, man. I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on, and you're preparing for.
I just wanted to say too that I'm looking forward to reconnect with you again later in the year. Actually, at Canada Fruit Fest as well, and that's another place that people are like, well, I can't make a retreat. I live in Canada, or I'm going to be there. Like, great, I'll see you there then.
Yeah, and if you want to come see Sam at the Fruit Fest, which you're definitely going to want to once you meet him, then you can use his code. What's your code, Sam?
For the Canada Fruit Fest, I can you can get $25 off. You register Dr. Sam, just DRSAM, all caps. Just use that code and you get $25 off Canada Fruit Fest.
Hey, here, I'll make that same deal, dude. If you use the code Dr. Sam for Canada Fruit Fest in February, I'm gonna change the rate. You're not gonna find this rate anywhere else. I'll change the rate. You get $100 off.
Nice.
So you and I got the same deal, dude.
Cool.
If they use Ted Carr in February on your retreat, they get $100 off. If they use Dr. Sam for the Canada Fruit Fest in February, they're going to get $100 off as well. So I got to go update that code right after this call.
Awesome.
Sweet, man. Well, thanks so much for the call, man. This is like a really, really jam-packed episode. Really, really appreciate everything you have to share. And I know people are going to get a lot out of it. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you this summer, man. See you at Canada Fruit Fest and see you at the Woodstock Fruit Fest. And I'm sure peeps are going to be wanting to see you at that retreat. So good stuff.
Awesome, man. It's pleasure to talk to you always, Ted, and look forward to connecting again in person and keep raising health.
Yeah, man, and we'll do another podcast again in the future because this is great.
Cool. Yeah, buddy.
All right, man. See you later.